A point of historical interest is the remains of the gatehouse erected by Fergus B. Squire, known as Squire's Castle. Squire, vice president of Standard Oil Company, began to assemble a country estate in Chagrin Valley in the 1800s, gradually acquiring 525 acres. He built a gatehouse of stone quarried on the property, 8 miles of gravel roads, and a pond, but sold the property in 1922. 3 years later, it was purchased by the Cleveland Metropolitan Park Board as the heart of the North Chagrin Reservation. There is a legend surrounding the castle that states that late one evening, for reasons never fully understood, Mrs. Squire ventured alone into the trophy room carrying a red lantern. While in the room, something frightened Mrs. Squire. Some believe it was simply the reflection of her lantern on the faces of her husband's trophy, but there are those who believe Mrs. Squire looked into the face of something unearthly that night. Regardless of what it was, she became so frightened that she attempted to flee the room. In the darkness, she fell and broke her neck. Upon finding his wife's body, Squire was overcome with grief. Indeed, he blamed himself for his wife's death. He immediately ceased construction on the house and moved back to the city, never to return again. To this day, there are many who report seeing a ghostly figure roaming the castle carrying a red lantern. The problem with the legend is, Mrs. Squire hardly ever visited the castle. She was more of a city person and didn't quite care for the rustic surroundings of the castle. Also, she died later at her home in Wycliffe from pneumonia. As for Squire's Castle being haunted, there are far too many people reporting something moving around Squire's Castle late at night. So while Mrs. Squire doesn't haunt the castle, maybe, just maybe, someone else does.